Happy Monday. I'm going to be showing a quick, easy, and really delicious weeknight meal. One of the most iconic dishes we have, which is a Philly cheesesteak. But of course, this is going to be totally plant-based, yet it's going to taste amazing. So here's my griddle. I'm using an extra large griddle surface because it's really convenient. You can cook a lot of things on it at once. So I'm going to have my onions and peppers over here and the steak over here. So let's get started. I'm turning it up to 350 degrees to get nice and hot. And I'm going to start off by buttering it with dairy-free butter. So I am using Country Crock plant butter. You can use any dairy-free butter you have on hand. There's so many good brands now. In addition to Country Crock, Miyoko's is good. Some people like Earth Balance. I've used Earth Balance a lot in the past. But lately, because this is pretty cheap and in a lot of stores, I just go with Country Crock's plant butter. So I am greasing down the griddle with plenty of the butter. You can also use just regular old cooking oil. I use avocado a lot when I'm cooking. Just put a tablespoon of cooking oil on the surface. All right, so we're going to start by grilling our onions. And I think I should actually adjust this camera because there's like a strong shadow over there and I don't want the shadow too much. So move the camera up a bit. Well, this is what's going to have to be, is a shadow. Okay. So I'm grilling the onions. These are some pre-sliced onions. I made these in a spiralizer. Spiralizer is like the quickest, most convenient way to slice a bunch of onions at once without tearing up like crazy. All right, so these are the onions. And next I'm going to add green bell peppers. So I have these pre-sliced. Also adding this. And if you're joining, I'm grilling veggies for a plant-based Philly cheesesteak that tastes like an actual Philly cheesesteak. You won't believe it. But because it's plant-based, it's going to be healthier because there's no cholesterol. Did you know cholesterol is only found in animal foods? So meat, dairy, eggs, and seafood. Plant-based foods like fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans have zero cholesterol. So even if you're eating something that's very high in calories, there's no cholesterol content. So you can enjoy your favorite foods like a burger or a Philly steak with no guilt or less guilt. All right, so now you might be wondering, what are we going to use for the meat? There's many options, but this is the one I consistently find the most. And hello, welcome. If you're new, we're making a plant-based Philly cheesesteak. And hello to Jonathan who just joined. Thank you for joining me tonight. I love doing these live cooking classes because it's easier than when I typically do cooking classes at venues. Doing a cooking class from home is so much simpler. So this is the most reliable product I have found. When I do cooking classes in public, I go to libraries and schools. This is the best tasting one. I try to always give people something with a lot of flavor. Impossible ground beef actually makes an amazing steak sandwich. I'm going to show you how. We're going to use a special seasoning and a marinade that's going to really make this taste like steak. So let me open this package up quickly and add it to the griddle. If you don't like Impossible meat, because some people, they just don't like this brand for different reasons, there's another brand that I love to use called Better Chew, and that's available online. If you're in California, they sell it in Northern California retail shops. Better Chew has its really delicious steak product that I use to make Philly steaks. Plant-based, of course. All right, so there's the Impossible meat, and I defrosted it. Now, here's the thing. This looks like actual burger meat, and it's going to behave and cook just like real burger meat. So let me slice this open some more. I'm adding this to the grill. And it started to cook a little bit because I was defrosting it in the microwave, but most of it is still pink. And you're going to treat this just like regular ground beef. It's going to get seasoned and cooked down just like ground beef. And you just won't believe the texture it creates. And hello to Kodiak, who's joining me. Thank you for joining. This is my weeknight cooking class. We're making plant-based Philly cheesesteaks. All right, now I have the Impossible Burger meat on the grill, so I'm gonna take a spatula and just break it up. That's the first thing to do because we want a really fine texture. So break it up as much as you can with the griddle, with a spatula I mean. And now I have to shift my focus quickly, really quick, to the veggies. Make sure they're not overcooking on one side too much. So just shift them around with another spatula so they all get evenly cooked. And I'm gonna season the veggies, but not yet. The veggies, everything is gonna get seasoned. That's one of the secrets to making a delicious plant-based meal, is season every part of the dish. Nothing should go unseasoned. Whatever you're making, if you're making pasta, season the pasta water, then season the sauce really, really well. And when it's done cooking, add more garlic powder or olive oil on top because you just want to keep seasoning. That's how you build up layers of flavor. All right, so this is plant-based ground beef from Impossible Foods. Again, this is a very consistent product. When I show people plant-based meat, they are really amazed at how much it tastes like actual meat. It's just so well made. It's really impressive. Okay, so now that it's sitting on the grill, I'm going to add a marinade. Here's my marinade. I mixed it. I'm going to put the recipe in the description. But this marinade, all it is a tablespoon. Here it is right here. All the marinade is a tablespoon of avocado oil with vegetable broth, some vinegar, garlic salt, and garlic onion and garlic powder. And I'll write that down in the description for you. So I'm putting about 3 tablespoons of the marinade. The reason I'm using this is because the beef on its own tastes like hamburger meat. So when you add the marinade, it gives it this amazing, rich, savory flavor that tastes like steak. So if you want this to taste like real steak, you got to use the marinade. And I will include the recipe for you. Now I'm turning the heat down on my griddle. It was on 350. I'm turning it down to like 200, which is equivalent to medium low if you were to make this on a stove top, because this meat now has to absorb the marinade. And that takes a good 5, 6, 7 minutes. So don't rush this. As you can see, the color is still kind of light. It really does cook like regular ground beef. So let this just simmer. And I have one more seasoning to add to the meat. Actually, it's Worcester sauce. Okay, now if you want a really, really amazing flavor, use vegan Worcester sauce. Is that how you say this? Worcestershire? I'm not sure. This is vegan because it does not have any anchovies, but it's made like traditional Worcester sauce, and it adds an amazing, rich depth of flavor. And you don't need much. This is just like half a teaspoon. And it makes the meat turn darker, so it has a nice browning effect. Mix that in and let it absorb along with the marinade. And now we're gonna, when I finish this, I'm gonna season the veggies. Mix that in good. Remember, keep the heat low. If it's too high, everything's gonna start to burn. Keep it on medium low. And don't rush it. Cooking it low and slow is going to result in delicious food. The flavors are gonna absorb better. All right, so the Worcester sauce is pretty much all up in there now. It's a little tricky to scoop everything up without everything mixing together and still keeping it in frame. All right, now I'm gonna season the veggies. So veggies get sugar. You can use regular sugar or agave syrup. Agave syrup works just like sugar, but for me, I like it because it's more convenient. It's neater. It's not as messy as sprinkling sugar, and it's a syrup. It looks like maple syrup, but it does not have the maple taste. And then I'm gonna add some sea salt. I'm using herba mare. I love this brand. It's basically sea salt with some herbs mixed in. Has a fantastic flavor. So I'm sprinkling them with the sea salt. They're already going to be pretty delicious because they've been sauteing in butter, you know. And then finally I'm going to add this. This is my favorite all-purpose seasoning, which is Harlem garlic pepper. And I'm going to sprinkle just 2 or 3 good dashes of that. And then I'm going to mix that up as well. So at this stage, it's okay if you mix the peppers and onions together. It is best to keep them separated though, just for neatness purposes. All right, so those are getting, they're pretty much almost done on the veggie side. And the meat is sauteing really well as well. I think I'm gonna add a bit more marinade to it, just to ensure that the flavor is on point. Tiny bit, not too much. And this marinade also has the effect of making the meat juicy. So it really makes a difference. Before I created this marinade, I was trying out a ton of impossible cheesesteak recipes on TikTok and on social media, and they all came out tasting like a burger sandwich. It didn't taste like a steak sandwich. And I wondered why, and they weren't seasoning it enough, basically. So yeah, go take the extra step, add the marinade. It makes a world of difference. So the meat is almost done. It's getting there. When you see no more pink, just like regular ground beef, once the pink is gone, it's pretty much ready. I'm just chopping up the large chunks to make it as steaky as possible. So now, since the meat is just about ready, all that's left to do, and you can see this meal comes together real quick in like less than 10 minutes. So all that's left to do is add the cheese for the classic cheesesteak sub. So I'm moving the meat to the side. And for the cheese, we're using this. This is Daya. How do I do this? Oh, this is Daya. Swiss cheese. Now here's the thing. This does not taste like Swiss cheese. It has a very mild flavor. And it works extremely well in a cheese sandwich like this, a cheesesteak. But don't expect it to taste like Swiss cheese. Alright, so the secret to making a great Philly steak is to put the cheese directly on the hot surface and let the heat from the griddle and the meat melt it down. Okay, so I'm putting 3 slices down. And then I'm going to get the meat, pile the meat over it on top. And all you got to do is let this cook for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Why does it say that? And the cheese will start to melt. So as you can see, look right there in the corner. I don't know if you can see it. The cheese is starting to bubble. When you see the cheese bubbling and sizzling like that, it's done. Pretty much done. But I'm waiting for all the cheese to fully melt. And look how amazing it's melting. It's like awesome. You wouldn't believe this is a dairy-free cheese. So, okay, while the cheese is melting, one last step. Take your bread. This is a hoagie roll, and toast it. I already cut it. I'm putting it off to the side right here. Ew. And I'm gonna toast it. It only needs like a good minute to toast.
You're on TikTok live. You had like 11 people in there, but my phone died.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Oh, well. I lost. All right, here's the toast. It's almost done. The toasted bread. It only needs like 20-30 seconds per side and it's good to go. Look at the cheese in the middle on the meat, how amazing that looks. Okay, and now let me get a plate. All right. The bread kind of broke up, but that's okay. All right, so we're gonna take our spatula and just scoop up this cheese down here. Whoops. I'm gonna scoop up. Look at that and how amazing the cheese looks, how it melted. And just get it into the sandwich. Would anyone ever guess this is a vegan sandwich? Nope. Nope. Because the Impossible and the Daiya Swiss cheese, they just taste that amazing. All right, so scoop it all up into this sandwich. I'm making a mess, but who cares? And on the other side, let's grab the onions and peppers. It would be easier actually to use tongs. Let me get tongs. All right. So here are the onions. Let me get more of this meat onto the bread. And I'm gonna finish with the peppers and onions. So here are the onions. Make sure you put a good amount of those. Again, a spiralizer is your best friend to make lots of thinly sliced onions quickly. They cost like 30 bucks online. They're so worth it. All right, and the final addition is, is the peppers. Actually, this is not the final addition because you can go ahead and add toppings like mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato, depending how you like your Philly steaks. So definitely dress it up however you like it. All right, and that's all there is to it. There you go. There you have it. Let me finish putting the top bun over it, and we are done. I wish this came out a little bit neater. Sometimes I'm just a messy cook, a messy chef. But that's the Philly steak, and I can cut it, but as you can see, it looks like a regular Philly steak, and trust me, this tastes amazing. So I'm gonna put the recipe for the marinade in the description, but that's how you do it. Thank you for joining me on this live, and let me go ahead and give you the recipe. Enjoy. I hope you have a good Philly steak in your future, in the near future. Take care. Bye-bye. I don't like that plane.
You're live. Really? Why? Your mom?
Yeah. I didn't put any mayo or anything,
No,
though.
she needs coffee.
I did have one. I did.